right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Chelsea Connor. Chelsea, how we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Can't complain. And Chelsea, you just had a fight not too long ago. Talk to us a little bit more about your performance and maybe what's next for you.
Yeah, so I fought June 15th at Hobart Arena in Troy, Ohio. Fight went well. I won a unanimous decision. I was dealing with a whole lot. As you know, I was sick the week before, so I felt like pretty good that I had, at my worst, like I had a good performance, but that was literally me at my worst, and I beat someone at their best. So I think that speaks volumes for where I'm at, like level wise. I mean, not the girl that I fought. She had had 25 fights, so I mean, she definitely had some experience to get in there and put on the clinic that I put on. Like I said, on my worst day, I beat her on her best. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to that fight, I mean, what were you maybe doing in the gym to kind of get prepared and be ready for this matchup?
Yeah, so we had our fight camp that we typically do. We had I think like a 6 week fight camp. Um, Lots of wrestling, jujitsu, striking, everything that goes into being a full, well-rounded martial artist. I practiced a lot of judo for it, so um, kind of with the girl that I just fought, she didn't have a whole lot of film online, so I wasn't able to do a whole lot of studying to know like game plan wise what I was working with when I did get in there. So we kind of just on the fly made shit happen, and it worked out.
Yeah, no, definitely. And with you getting another big win, I mean, how soon can we maybe see you back in the cage again?
So I'm hoping by the end of this year. I'm dealing with some injuries. That's one thing that's been my past 3 fights. I have some nagging injuries that it's time to get them taken care of. So I do have to address those and get those taken care of before I can actually get back to competing inside the cage. I have some jujitsu and judo tournaments that are coming up that I plan to still do. Those are at the end of this month, beginning of next month. So as long as my body is good with it, I'm gonna go ahead and compete in those. But as far as fighting in the cage, I feel like the end of this year, if not the beginning of next year, is gonna be, having. I'm 33 years old. I've had 4 fights in the past year, and my body is telling me like, hey, you need to address a few things before you get back in there, so I can fight at my full potential. Like I said, this last fight, honestly, my last 3 fights, I've not been at my full potential. So I feel good, that I'm beating these girls, that they're good girls, like they are all very talented. But I know I'm beating them on a technical aspect and not in a fighting aspect. And my fighting style is I just go out there and like fight. I'm not a super big technician, so I think that fighting with the injuries that I've been fighting with the past 3 fights is really helping me, like on a technical level, because now I know I can't just go in there and be reckless. I have to be technical to be able to beat these girls. So I think once I get my body healed the way that it needs to be healed, a lot of people are in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely looking forward to that. And you mentioned judo and jiu-jitsu tournaments. I mean, talk us a little bit more about competing in that, and what's maybe some of your favorite memories doing these kinds of tournaments.
Yeah, so my most favorite memory is the one of the Nagas that I went to right after I had had a pretty I had a neck surgery, and went in 2 months later after my neck surgery, won 2 Naga belts. So that was pretty awesome. Had just had, well, my kid at the time, he was almost 3 years old, so still being like on mom duty and things like that, and being able to juggle that and go in and win 2 Naga belts, I was pretty proud of that. And then judo, I've actually never competed in judo. So that's why I'm super excited to get that competition out of the way and just see where I'm at. I use my judo a lot in my MMA fights and my grappling matches, but I just want to see when it comes to pure judo where I'm at, because I also use a lot of wrestling too. So I'm able to mix my takedowns well together. But for judo, I can't use my wrestling. So I'm interested to see how I'm going to stack up when I just play judo.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And with you being a martial artist, a fighter, and a mom, I mean, how are you able to juggle all these different things? I mean, talk to us more about that too.
Lots of chaos. um I don't know. If I'm being honest, it is literally, I get asked that question a lot. I have a good support system, and a lot of people just, they gravitate towards me and want to help me. So, um it's the help that I get from others that allows me to be able to do what what I'm good at. So, um yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I juggle it all, because it is very crazy how I'm able to do everything that I do, but it's really, I mean, the help of other people that allows me to be able to do it.
Fantastic. And you got a sick tattoo sleeve. Can you talk to us a little bit more about some of your favorite tattoos and everything?
um my favorite tattoos. Oh my goodness, I have so many.
No, it's awesome.
So my husband is actually my tattoo artist. So he
Oh, there
just
you go.
covers me, yeah, in tattoos. I don't know, what is my favorite? I mean, I have favorites for different reasons. There's like the meaningful ones, and then there's ones that just are super freaking cool. This sleeve here, my after I had had some other tattoos that like I picked out, my husband was like, "Hey, just let me run with it," because then I didn't like him after I picked him out, and he was like, "You probably should have just listened to the artist."
Yeah.
So now I just listen and I let him kind of do whatever he wants to do. But I'd say this one here on my thumb, I don't know where I'm at. Okay, I have a little like heart-shaped octagon that when me and my husband hold hands, it creates like a little heart in the shape of an
Oh,
octagon. So it's kind of cool.
yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And with you having all those tattoos, I mean, like, how long does it typically take you, like, I guess, like, session wise, to kind of get one of those done?
um, It depends, and that's another thing why I'm not like covered. I mean, I know I have a lot of tattoos, but I'd like to be covered more. But because of my training schedule and always competing and training, I can't get as many tattoos as I'd like because of the healing process. I don't want to get them like infected and things. And I've ruined like my hand tattoos. They looked really good, and then I decided to start putting my boxing gloves back on way too soon, and I kind of tore them up. So it typically takes like honestly 3 to 4 weeks. Once I get tattooed, I'm kind of relaxing during that time frame to not take and mess them up and things. Um so the tattoo process, though, I mean, it just depends on what exactly we're doing, how big the tattoo is, and things like that. To time frame wise, sometimes they're a little 30-minute session, and sometimes it's like a 3-hour session. So it just
Yeah,
depends.
fair enough, fair enough. And with you having tattoos everywhere, I mean, which one do you think maybe hurt the worst to get?
Holy smokes. My hands and my feet were brutal. My feet were probably the worst. But my feet are cover up. So, the like original tattoos that I had on them weren't too bad, but they were smaller tattoos. And then I covered them up and took like my whole foot, and that was brutal. My feet were
Oh, I
definitely
bet.
the worst.
No, I definitely bet. And on top of that, Chelsea, I mean, you mentioned like you're a mom and stuff. I mean, but what else do you typically like to do outside of cage when you're not in there fighting?
I get asked this question a lot too. You, for me, honestly, like fighting is my hobby. Being like, it's weird because when people ask me that, I'm like, well, that's what I do for fun. I fight people, like I don't really have, like I grew up riding horses and things like that. And so I like riding horses, being outdoors and things like hunting, stuff like that. But I typically don't have a whole lot of time because my hobby, which is fighting, just consumes me. So, fighting kind of is what I do.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And when it comes to riding horses, like, did you have any pet horses or anything? Like, how'd you kind of get into that?
Yeah, so I grew up on a horse farm. Like I was born into it. I really didn't have a choice. So we had as a kid, I think we had like 50 horses. And so yeah, I had my one horse that I rode in the fair. His name was Dusty, and he was pretty awesome. Won a lot of barrel races and things, pull bending with my horse Dusty.
That's awesome. So how do you kind of take care of a horse, when you have your own?
So I mean, obviously have to have the living quarters for them, a barn, a pasture for them to be able to basically land. You need land. You can't raise them being, without a few acres. Um we had like a 20-acre farm, and the horses just kind of roamed. We were in charge of taking and feeding them, watering them, things like that. And yeah, so they kind of do their own thing. On the weekends we would go like camping, and the horses, like it was basically a horseback riding trip, and we would go take trips and things like that. And yeah, it just keeps you busy.
Yeah, yeah, no, it definitely seems like it. And you mentioned a little bit about like hunting too. I mean, like, what's maybe some of your favorite memories with hunting and stuff?
Probably the first deer that I shot, I was 15. I had been hunting since I was 10. Like I thought I was never going to ever get a deer. At this point, I was like 5 years. It took me 5 years to to finally shoot a deer. And then after that, it took me another like 4 years before I like really started. Once I became an adult and I started hunting by myself. So I think the the issue was I was a kid. Me and my sister and my dad, we would go hunting, and we just me and my sister, I don't think were, not that we weren't mature enough, just like we weren't focused enough on like, hey, what we are supposed to be doing, sitting there being quiet, things like that. So my very first deer that I shot, I was hunting with my dad, and the deer, like, it wasn't a, I mean, I shot the deer, so I can't say it was a lucky shot, but looking like when we got up on the deer, like it literally just like grazed its neck, and it was, I felt pretty lucky about it. My dad always tells me it ricocheted off the tree and hit the deer, and that's how I got the shot. But yeah, it like ran down into this ravine. We ended up, me and my dad, um had to drag this deer up out of the woods, and it was definitely a crazy experience, because later that night I had a homecoming dance to go to. So I go shoot this deer, pull it out of the woods, and do everything that you got to do when you shoot a deer. And then later that night, went to homecoming.
What a cool memory there. And on top of that, when you are mentioning hunting, I mean, do you remember maybe the first gun that you ever shot and stuff?
Oh, first gun I ever shot. I mean, the first gun that I ever shot was a BB gun. We, like I said, I grew up on a farm, so I probably shot my first gun when I was like 4. I honestly don't even remember like the first time I really shot a gun, but I mean, shoot, I I would go out target practicing with my dad, my grandpa, my uncles, constantly. So I don't really remember honestly the very first like real deal gun, other than, like I said, I know I was shooting BB guns a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. And when it comes to you in the gym and stuff, I mean, what kind of music do you like to listen to when you're training?
I love Nicki Minaj. She is
There you go.
like, she gets me. Yeah, so I get made, well, not that I get made fun of, but yeah, all the guys probably don't like me and they're uh listening to my Nicki Minaj mixes. But yeah, that's what I usually like to listen to when I'm working out.
There you go. There you go. Now, when it comes to like Nicki Minaj, just in general, like, have you been to any concerts when you had some free time?
No, I've not Nicki Minaj concerts. have went and seen TLC. They are coming to Ohio again in August, and I'm trying to definitely go to that one.
Nice.
I'm a huge TLC fan.
Yeah, that would definitely be sweet. And getting back into your like fighting and stuff. I mean, you mentioned you're 33 now. You got a win now under your belt too, not too long ago. I mean, what's maybe some of your goals right now in MMA?
So initially this year I was focused on getting into the UFC. That was my game plan for this year. It could still be a possibility. I'm a really realistic person. I don't like saying, like I'm not gonna sit here and feed you a line of bullshit. Like I know my body needs a little bit of healing, and I wouldn't want to go into the UFC right this second and not be able to perform at my best. So I want to get my body taken care of. So if I get that call by the end of the year, like I definitely would. But if I don't, that's fine. I think definitely by next year, that's definitely going to be happening. So really, my goal right now is to get my body 100%, and so I can fight, the way that I want to be able to fight. And then hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be back in the cage. But at the end of the day, I have to listen to my body and make sure that it's where it needs to be, because I'm tired of having to fight. I don't want to say fight smart fights, but technical fights. I want to go in and fight someone. And like that's my fighting style. That's why I got into this. Like I want to hurt someone, and that's it. Like not that I don't care about the technical side, but I just want to be able to fight. So as long as my body's doing what it needs to be doing, then the goal is by the end of this year to get another fight in.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And with you trying to mention you want to fight kind of, to the best of your abilities. A lot of these UFC up and comers, they usually get signed on like short notice contracts. Would that be something you're interested in? Maybe taking a short notice fight to kind of make the the move into the UFC?
Yeah, we've definitely talked about that, and that being a possibility. And I'm definitely down. I know like where I'm at skill wise, and experience wise, all those things. I'm there with all the UFC girls. Like that's where I belong. I don't belong in local regional circuits anymore. Like I belong in the UFC. For a long time, it's taken me a long time to actually believe that, and have that confidence to say it out loud. Like I told you just a minute ago, I don't like saying things that like aren't true. So now, like knowing that it is true, the like I said, the last three fights, it just keeps on like in my head. Like I know what I've been dealing with these last three fights. I no one, I mean, other people do know, but most people, especially my opponents, they don't know what I'm dealing with, and I'm beating them like at their game, just putting on clinics, and my body's not even as great as it could be. So I definitely belong in the UFC, and I'll get there when I get there. But I like I said, I just have to listen to my body and get there healthy.
Yeah, yeah, 1000%. And with you mentioning you believe you're ready to go to the UFC, I mean, is there anybody in the UFC right now you maybe would be ready to kind of fight right now off the top of your head if you were healthy?
I don't care whoever they offer.
I love it.
um, yeah, yeah. There's no one in particular that I'm like that is the person that I'm, gunning for or anything like that. It's just whoever, whenever I'm ready.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And when it comes to your training partners, I mean, who's maybe some of your best training partners that kind of push you to be the best version of you?
So Tim Fry, he's been my training partner forever. He's always been, my number one. He has never, him and I size wise match up, but he's also a man, so he's also just way stronger than what I am. So he makes me work. And he's just made me a lot better over the years. So Tim's definitely my number one. Um I have other training partners that help. I mean, all my teammates are super big helps. And I mean, I have a ton of them that I could go on and list, but I won't. I won't take up the time to try and list everyone, and I don't want to miss anyone and hurt anyone's feelings. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. And one thing I always like to ask everybody I bring on the show is I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching for 6 years, training for 19 years, like I mentioned to you. And I love martial arts and love what I do. And with all the people I have at my gym, what advice do you give to them to keep on coming into the gym and to keep on getting better and better every day?
Trust the process. Don't care, like, just trust what your coach is saying. Don't think you know it all, and just come in and focus on the basics. Like, so many people get caught up on wanting to learn the show moves and wanting to, they saw this spinny thing that they want to learn how to spin, and I'm like, well, do you know how to throw a jab correctly? Do you how many times have you practiced throwing your jab? Like, it's the little things, and that's my biggest advice to people that just started. Keep your mouth shut, work hard, and just listen to your coach and really focus on the fundamentals.
Yeah, no, Chelsea, I definitely think that's a solid message. And Chelsea, I think you have a lot of potential. It's been awesome talking to you. What's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
um Stay positive. Life has its ups and downs, but if you can just stay positive, look at the silver lining and everything, life's much better that way.
I definitely think life's much better that way. And Chelsea, I hope you heal up pretty soon. And we're looking forward to what's next to you. Like I said, I definitely think you have a lot of potential. And hopefully, once you heal up, we can see you soon in the UFC. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show. It means a lot to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, Chelsea, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll stay in touch and hopefully we can do another one in the future. Again, thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well. All right, take care. Bye bye.